We're talking about sustainability and how to have a sustainable summer. Let's speak next to Charles Appleby from noco2.org. And I know you're someone who's very bothered about sustainability. Hello.
Hello there, Jackson. Great to speak with you again.
Brilliant. Yes, I've spoken to you before. It's always great to have you on. How are you?
Very good. I had 2 days in London this week at the London Climate Action Week.
Okay.
So the event on Tuesday was quite amazing. It was at the QE2 Elizabeth Conference Centre, which is opposite the House of Commons, and there were 700 people there, all talking about what needs to be done and solutions for stopping global warming.
Yeah. Brilliant. I'm going to ask you as well, just quickly. I know we mentioned it before, but tell us about your organisation, noco2.org. What do they do?
Thank you. It's very simple. We make it easy for businesses and families to take action on global warming by cutting your carbon footprint. It's actually not difficult to do. It's actually very, very easy. We can help people with that.
And tell us about the trees as well.
Great. So trees are really, really important because there's lots of talk going on about what's happening in the world with global warming, the need to remove CO2 emissions, and just would really like people to remember that trees are a very, very simple, proven way to remove CO2 emissions from the air naturally. So if you plant a tree in the tropics, which is what we do, the trees grow about 3 times faster than they do here in the UK. It's also much, much more cost effective, and you can plant thousands of trees in order to remove our CO2 emissions. And planting those trees also creates paid work for people who are in extreme poverty. So you probably know this, Jackson. Do you know what extreme poverty means?
Well, I mean, yes, to a certain extent, obviously.
It means that people are living on less than $1.90 a day.
Wow, I didn't know the exact number. But
it's horrific. I spent some time in London, obviously, on 2 days this week.
Yeah.
So now, for a reasonable sized cup of coffee in London, $1.90 buys you about half a cup of coffee.
Wow.
So these people are in desperate need. The people planting the trees, and so by planting the trees, not only are you helping to stop global warming, you're removing your own CO2 emissions, you're also creating paid work for people who are in desperate situations, living in slums, living in extreme poverty. You're helping them with proper paid work.
Wow, what an amazing project. So, sustainable summer then. Obviously, we're coming into the summer and we've had some amazing weather. People are going to be going out, as we say, enjoying themselves, etc. Maybe jetting off on holidays. How can we try and do that? What are your tips for keeping that sustainable?
Excellent question, Jackson. Well, the first thing I think really for people is to take a look at the news a little bit more carefully and see what the news is really saying about the situation, because the situation with climate is not good. I mean, people probably would have heard the news just in the last couple of days that the US is now going to struggle to cut its coal-fired power stations.
Okay.
So it's really, really important for people to be doing something here. So first of all, really just think about your CO2 emissions. Think about the fossil fuel you're using, because if you're using less fossil fuels, if you're using less petrol, diesel, less air travel, whatever, you're actually saving money by using less petrol and less gas central heating and all of that. You're saving money at the same time.
Sure.
Think also about the diet. So diet's really, really important. So vegetarian food, it produces less CO2 emissions. Chances are it's also going to be less costly as well. So it's actually a way of being good for the planet and good for your pocket at the same time. And really, those patio heaters that there are, they are just so dangerous for the planet, because you're just heating the whole planet with these patio heaters. But let's talk about flying, because this is a big one for the summer.
Yes.
People are used to flying. One tip is, I'm on the train a week with these people, and there's so many people who are flying multiple times. So a simple way of reducing your impact on the planet is to fly less and to stay for longer. So when you go to a place, do less flying and stay for longer, because that actually reduces your emissions. But if you are going to fly, then really try and pay the real cost in terms of the environmental impact. It's very, very simple. It's the way I would look at it is very simple. It's 32 trees per hour of flight.
Okay.
So if there's 4 of you going and you're flying for 2 hours each way, yeah. So 2 hours each way. It's 4 hours times 4 people. That's 16 hours. You've got 16 hours of flight for the 4 of you, and then basically it's times 32 for the number of trees.
Right. I couldn't even begin to do that calculation. I'm awful at maths. Do you want do you want to try and, or we can calculate it?
People can work it out. But what we can do is, for a donation of £20 a moment, we plant 180 trees. So let people work it out for themselves. 32 trees an hour of flight. You know how long the flight is there and back. You know how many people are going, times 32 trees per hour of flight, and then basically, if you make a donation of £20 with ourselves, then we plant 180 trees for you in the tropics, which will remove those CO2 emissions for you.
Brilliant. I couldn't resist. 512.
Okay.
For that example.
Right. Okay. So that's about 512. Okay. So yeah. So what's that? £60 worth of trees, roughly.
Sure. How about moving around more locally as well?
Well, if people, if you can use public transport in the summer, it's nice to cycle, to walk. It's all good. I mean, something to think about in this situation really is this idea of sharing lifts. I mean, people are already sharing car journeys. But the situation with the climate is an opportunity to talk to other people, talk to neighbours, and to share those journeys rather than everyone going in their own car. It all makes a difference.
Yeah.
If we all just carry on, I mean, the thing is, Jackson, look, if we all just carry on as we are now, right, then we don't make that impact. We don't make that impact on global warming. The planet continues to warm up, and we just run into massive problems down the line for our families and wild animals in the future. I mean, if we don't tackle this problem collectively, then we just end up wrecking the planet, which is going to be a disaster for everybody. It's going to cost much, much more than if we fix it now.
I guess it I mean, car share's a good one. I hadn't thought of that, because one of the main arguments, I guess, against public transport is it's so expensive a lot of the time now.
It's, if you've got, well, whatever, people have just got to weigh up the costs. Certainly if you're going into central London, then for me, going on the train is a no-brainer, because it's so much easier. You don't have the hassle and the cost of parking and the working out what the congestion charges are and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
With it. So you've got a lot of stuff there. If you travel at the right times of day, you can get good prices. And from the trains here locally, it seems that you need to get the trains later in the day, like sort of about 1 p.m. onwards. But check that with the station as to what the prices are going to be.
Sure.
And if you're using the machines, the machines to buy your tickets at the station, be very careful, because they don't give you the lowest price. If you just press the buttons, they will give you a pretty standard ticket. They won't give you the lowest cost ticket for the time of day you're travelling.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Going to leave it there, Charles Appleby. Great to have you on.
Super. And the link is n0co2.org. That's 0 with the number, n0co2.org. If people want to make contact with us, or if people would like to make a donation for the trees, for your journey or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great to speak to you.